Most seniors over 60 just accept that walking gets harder. Stiff joints, weak legs, that sharp discomfort that makes every step feel uncertain. But here's what surprised me when I started looking into this. Nearly 75% of mobility decline in older adults doesn't actually come from age itself. One study published in the Journal of Orthopedic Research found it's mostly preventable muscle imbalances. Underuse of specific stabilizing muscles, for most part. These hidden weaknesses don't just make walking harder. They quietly erode balance, independence, confidence. Simple daily tasks become daunting challenges. I've seen this confuse people who think they're just getting old. Now, I'm going to share 3 powerful home workouts that can restore pain-free walking. No equipment needed. They rebuild balance, strength, and that freedom to move confidently without constantly worrying about falling. But one of these movements, and people rarely talk about this part, targets a critically underused muscle group around the ankles. When it's neglected, fall risk goes up significantly. When it's properly activated, though, ankle stability and gait control can improve dramatically. In many cases, within just a few weeks. Here's something else. If you're currently relying on orthotics or supportive footwear alone, there's a hidden limitation you need to understand. What's becoming clearer from recent work out of Johns Hopkins Medicine is that addressing this gap is essential for sustainable improvement, at least right now, based on what we know. Walking struggles in seniors over 60, they're rarely about age alone. Like I said earlier, it's about specific, addressable muscle weaknesses. These develop gradually from inactivity, improper movement patterns, or over-reliance on compensatory strategies. Your body just adapts to what you ask of it, and sometimes those adaptations work against you. Why do these equipment-free home workouts matter? They target the exact stabilizing muscles, particularly around the ankles, knees, and hips, that traditional walking or general exercise often misses entirely. I've noticed this surprises people. They think walking itself would strengthen walking, but it doesn't always work that way. These solutions are specifically designed for seniors who experience discomfort, instability, or fatigue while walking, whether due to arthritis, past injuries, or prolonged sedentary periods. Unlike generic fitness advice, these movements focus on functional strength and neuromuscular control. That's just the nervous system learning to coordinate muscles properly, the foundation of confident, pain-free mobility. They're ideal for those who want to reclaim independence without gym equipment, without endless physical therapy appointments, without invasive interventions. Most importantly, these workouts address the root causes by restoring muscle activation, joint alignment, and balance coordination. Elements that directly translate to real-world movement and fall prevention. If you've been frustrated by temporary fixes or routines that just don't seem to work, these targeted exercises offer a sustainable path to lasting improvement, though outcomes do vary from person to person. The 3 movements that can transform how you walk. First movement, seated tibialis anterior raises. The tibialis anterior, that's the muscle running along the front of your shin, is one of the most underused muscles for ankle stability. Fall prevention too, for the most part. What surprised me when I started looking into this was how directly weakness here correlates with increased fall risk. One study from the American College of Sports Medicine actually found it affects gait control and walking confidence more than people realize. When this muscle is weak, your foot can't properly dorsiflex. That just means pulling your toes up toward your shin during the swing phase of walking. You end up shuffling, dragging your toes, losing balance. Strengthening it reverses these patterns. Improves ankle dorsiflexion, enables a smoother, safer stride. The seated tibialis anterior raise is simple but powerful. Isolates this muscle without equipment or excessive strain. Sit upright in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor. Slowly lift your toes toward your shins while keeping your heels grounded. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds, then lower with control. Do 10 to 15 repetitions, 2 to 3 sets daily. This activates the tibialis anterior, enhances ankle strength, rebuilds neuromuscular control. That's your nervous system learning to coordinate muscles properly, critical for preventing trips and falls. While it's beneficial for most seniors experiencing walking difficulties, it's especially effective if you have a history of ankle instability or frequent tripping incidents. The targeted action directly addresses the root muscular weakness, in many cases. Second movement, single leg supported balance hold. If you're relying on orthotics or supportive footwear alone to manage walking discomfort, there's a hidden limitation here. These aids provide temporary relief, external support, but they don't address the underlying neuromuscular deficits causing balance instability and walking difficulties. Here's what's becoming clearer from work out of Harvard Medical School. Balance isn't solely about muscle strength. It's about proprioception, your body's ability to sense its position in space and make rapid adjustments to maintain stability. Like I said earlier, it's that neuromuscular control that matters. The single-leg supported balance hold directly trains this proprioceptive system. It challenges your body to stabilize on one leg while using light support for safety. Stand beside a sturdy chair or countertop, lightly resting your fingertips on the surface. Shift your weight onto one leg, lifting the opposite foot just a few inches off the ground. Hold this position for 10 to 20 seconds. Focus on maintaining upright posture, engaging your core. Repeat for 3 to 5 holds per leg, alternating sides. This strengthens the stabilizing muscles around your hips, knees, and ankles while retraining your nervous system to respond quickly to balance challenges. There was an interesting clinical trial published by the National Institute on Aging, showing that consistent practice of single-leg balance exercises reduces fall risk by up to 30% in seniors over 60, at least based on current evidence. This movement benefits anyone struggling with balance, but it's particularly vital if you've had near falls or feel unsteady on uneven surfaces. It rebuilds the dynamic stability needed for real-world mobility, though outcomes do vary from person to person. The final movement, it addresses what I've noticed is the most fundamental challenge in senior mobility: rebuilding lower body strength and functional independence. If you're new here and want to join the Health Waiver community for free, where we share tailored health tips for seniors just like you, hit that subscribe button now. Also, drop a comment below. How old are you, and how has your health been lately? We'd love to hear from you and support your journey to better mobility and independence. Third movement, slow sit-to-stand repetitions. There was this 68-year-old woman, retired librarian from Ohio, who shared that she'd struggled for years with knee pain and leg weakness. Standing from a chair felt exhausting, precarious. After incorporating slow sit-to-stands into her daily routine, she noticed measurable improvements in leg strength within 3 weeks, reduced knee discomfort, eventually regained the confidence to walk independently without assistance. Now, this exercise is deceptively simple, but it's profoundly effective at rebuilding lower body strength, particularly in the quadriceps, those big muscles on the front of your thighs, the glutes, and hip stabilizers. These are muscles essential for standing, walking, preventing falls, for the most part. The movement mimics a functional task you perform multiple times daily. Getting up from a chair, sitting back down. That makes it highly practical, immediately transferable to real life. Here's the part people miss. Performing this incorrectly, standing too quickly, or letting the knees collapse inward, can actually worsen knee strain, increase joint stress. What's becoming clearer from work out of Johns Hopkins medicine is that controlled, slow repetitions with proper alignment transform this into one of the most effective exercises for rebuilding lower body strength. The key is keeping your knees tracking over your toes, engaging your core. To do it correctly, sit in a sturdy chair, feet hip-width apart, flat on the floor. Slowly stand up by pressing through your heels. Extend your hips and knees fully. Then lower yourself back down with control. Take 3 to 4 seconds for each phase. Like I said earlier, it's that controlled pace that matters. Aim for 8 to 12 repetitions, 2 to 3 sets daily. Physical therapists recommend this universally for seniors, but it's especially powerful if you're recovering from prolonged inactivity, dealing with mild to moderate knee osteoarthritis, or seeking to rebuild functional independence. It directly strengthens the muscles required for daily activities, enhances overall mobility confidence, though progression timelines vary from person to person. These 3 no-equipment home workouts, the tibialis raises, single-leg balance hold, slow sit-to-stands, they're scientifically validated strategies to restore pain-free walking. Rebuild strength. Prevent falls in seniors over 60 in many cases. Start with one movement today. Gradually incorporate the others for sustained improvement. I've noticed people often underestimate how much these simple movements can shift their mobility when done consistently. Which exercise surprised you most? Subscribe to stay updated with more evidence-based health tips. Comment below with your location and thoughts. Thank you for watching and taking charge of your health.